Alrighty, guys, welcome back for our second matchup of the evening. It's going to be compLexity versus OpTic. This time around, it's going to be on cash. We just concluded the knife round, and compLexity now 2 for 2 in the knife rounds. This time around, it looks like they're going to be starting on the CT side of cash. Now, this is a map that they've been struggling on recently, Bach. Why don't we talk about it?
Yeah, on the season right now, they're 1-3. They beat Liquid very early in the season, 16-8. Lost to Selfless, 13-16. 13-16 to Energy, and then they got absolutely dumpstered by Cloud9, a 2-16 affair. Wasn't even close. And unfortunately for them, they're playing against one of the better cash teams in North America. That'd be OpTic. They're 3-0 on the season with a 16-11 over AGG, 16-6 over Splice, and 16-13 over Cloud9, who, in my opinion, is also a really good cash team in North America. So things are not looking good here for compLexity, especially with coming off of a loss.
Yeah, and it's going to be a rush B, don't stop strategy. And hey, look at that, B's wide open. So they're just going to barrel on in. They've got one over here in heaven trying to stop the push. It's Roka, does good damage onto Daps, gets him down to 10 HP, but there you go. There's one shot. The bait comes out, though. Stanislaw going to try to continue his route from last match, where he dropped 35 kills by the end of it. Def is going to be able to find one more. Rush answers back, and these last couple of CTs trying to make their way back around here from the backside of the B-bomb site. Daps still with only 2 HP or 10 HP finds one, and now it's all down to Def, and he gets planted. Rush goes for 3, and OpTic going to pick up a pistol round again. They've won all 3 of the pistol rounds so far in this matchup.
And I kind of anticipate that they will likely pick up the 4th the way they've been playing them. It was a retake B strategy to a certain degree. Roka was playing Heaven. I don't know if there was maybe a miscall, because I felt like he rotated out of position then went back towards Heaven based on the way he was playing it. But the retake B didn't happen. Last time we watched compLexity play cash on their CT side, this time I saw it at least, was against Energy, and Roka had to pick up a 4K just to win the pistol round on their CT side. So things were at least starting nicely in that match for them, but they are getting mowed down by the UMP over towards B right now. That's Stanislaw picking up 3, but a response from compLexity through Roka's pistol there as he picks off 2 coming around from B main. His teammate Shinobi's going to get caught off guard towards the truck, and it's poor Roka here. He'd have to pick up the most insane ace of his life here with just a P250, 42 HP, no armor, and the bomb is planted on the A site.
Yeah, not really a whole lot he's going to be able to do. He can't even salvage the gun that he got down at the B-bomb site, which was the UMP. As there is a player that is kind of over there right now. Oh, he's going to give his position away. Naf going to swing on him at truck side. Still looking for the kill, and there you go. Finally finishes him off. A little bit scary there at the beginning of the round from OpTic. Stan was able to spray down 3. He's already got 4 kills in this matchup, 2 rounds in, and then Roka answers back with a pair of his own. But again, I mean, not too terribly worried about it. They lost 2 SMGs in the last round. Not a big deal. OpTic Gaming off and rolling 2-0 right now. It's another save for compLexity. See if they can do any more damage into this round. A couple of flashes on Shinobi, and it looks like maybe they're going to go for a flash play.
Yeah, it does appear to be the case here. Shinobi does have the flashes in A, and he's just kind of holding them right now. As he, somehow I just opened up something on my side monitor here.
He lost both of his flashes. He got killed by a player pushing quickly up on short. And yeah, didn't even get a chance to throw either of those, so that's $400 wasted economy. Now you can actually see going long range battle here is Naf and Fraud. And 32 HP right now for Naf. He's going to pull out the Galil. He's got a couple bullets left in the mag for that. Looking for that frag on the Fraud. Still searching for it. It's a little bit of a brawl over here, just this battle back and forth. Finally, he takes him down, and then Roka swings and gets the Huandig. Takes him off the map. That's all the further he's going to get. Last man standing is Sanks, who's over in A main right now. They haven't cleared this spot out, but there's still 2 players over from OpTic in the A-bomb site.
Yeah, Sanks is just sitting here with a P250, looking to do some damage. Not going to happen today. Somehow during that round, I got alt-tabbed. I don't even know what happened, so I didn't even see the most of it, but not surprised to see that it is a 3-0 start here for OpTic, and they're going to be rolling right into the first buy round here with plenty of money. Daps on 9,400. Is he going to hold on to that SMG? He looks like he wants to keep the MAC-10. We saw this before in the last half. He just seemed really keen to hold on to these SMGs. And you know what? If you can get close range, it's a little like a dink machine. You can put a few shots into the head of your opponent. Maybe catch one that's a little bit lighter if they had body armor and no head armor. Thinking like, oh, we're facing off against AKs, we can get away with it. But not going to be the case today as compLexity picks up head armor across the board. Roka's the only one with a kit, and the only one with decent utility left after the first 15 to 20 seconds of the round. You can see he's got Molly, Smoke, Flash, and HE. He's got a full buy here, whereas the rest of his team's sitting a little bit weaker.
Yeah, and it's curious to see that kind of setup right now. 2 flashes on Fraud, 1 on Sanks, and no utility for Def or Shinobi. And Roka, I mean, like you said, he's got the only kit. He plays over at B, and he's soloing over at B. He's got a teammate over there in Vent that's going to be Fraud. He's going to be able to spot out Daps and actually wins that battle, so the man advantage early over to compLexity's side. He didn't see that body of Stanislaw work his way into the smoke, so Stan might be able to pounce on this, and he does. Another nice shot from Stan. He's having himself a hell of a series.
Only one player towards the back of A site. That's going to be Sanks back on quad. He's got support from Shinobi towards white box mid. Shinobi just misses a peek on a player mid, but they are going to get Def into the site, and there you go. Def with the rifle in sight. Gunning down left and right. He's going to pick up a 3K on the round, securing the site for compLexity. And we had talked about this at the break. Def has a lot of times been forced into the op position for the team. It's always felt a little bit clunky and odd. When he picks up the rifle, he can be so deadly, and he just showed it right there, picking up 3 essential frags for compLexity to pick up that round.
Yeah, I mean, he's been, even in the last map, even though they kind of got beat up a little bit throughout that first half, I mean, anytime that he had the rifle, he was kind of doing work. And now you see actually Fraud eating a lot of spam early on in the beginning of this round through the mid-garage. And, yeah, he's going to be down to 54, and a quick peek from Daps might just eliminate him off the map here. Shazam's up at boost with the op, so, I mean, see what happens right now. But Fraud's in a very tough position, and there's the peek out. He does capitalize on one, but there's the spam through the smoke, and Daps is going to find that. Def does trade back, takes down Nap, so it's still a man advantage for compLexity, as they're looking to do a little bit more damage into this round, and Def over from Sandbags. Daps trying to take a look, but he's not going to be able to line that shot up at the moment.
And Roka's still in B, waiting for action to come his way, but it's been mostly a mid fight right now. Def still behind Sandbags, peeking towards mid, and a great molly's going to flush him out of position. Shinobi goes in for the repeat, can't get the recoil under control. And now they've got the CTs looking like a field goal post right now, with 1 on the A site and 1 on B. Roka all the way in the back of B site. Sanks all the way in the back of A site. Really no support for either player from their teammate. So whichever direction OpTic goes in, they just need a 1-for-1 trade, and they'll force themselves into a 1v2.
Yeah, that's the big thing. But with Daps and Stan as low as they are right now in this round, it could be a very, very difficult and tremendous task to isolate that 1v1 and get that easy trade, because if they continue to go up towards Highway and Roka, he looked like he wanted to push around from the backside of Z, and now they're going to hear the flashbang come out, so he should be privy to this right now. But Sanks is actually going to get chipped down to 45. He's got to take and win a battle, but he doesn't even get the 1-for-1. He doesn't even get the 1.
Look at Daps right now, right on the other side of the smoke, but Roka sniffs him out through the smoke like a bloodhound. Roka with the smoke, he's going to try and get his way in towards the A site. Puts a molly right behind it, hoping to catch the man who just planted the bomb in an awkward position. Forces them out of sight and allows himself to get towards quad box. Stan is very low on HP, and he capitalizes. And now it's just Rush in a really prime position. And you can see there's no way Roka's going to spot him there. Rush comes in with the top down. AK spray down on the head of Roka. And it's a round for OpTic that kind of breaks the money for compLexity. They're a little bit all over the place here with 3,700 on Sanks and 4,600 on Roka. Wouldn't be surprised to see those two players put a little bit more into the round, but the rest will likely be on just pistols.
Sanks needed to pick up a kill there. He can't leave his teammate in a 1v3 in that situation, and he even had the positional advantage playing from quad box. He just takes a wide peek and gets punished for it. It's a little bit foolish on that. Russians up coming up huge at the end of that round. I believe he picked up 3 kills in the end of that round, maybe even 4. As he was able to finish off Roka at least to get a 3rd. I'm not sure if he was the one that killed Sanks. I didn't see it. But, I mean, it's just one of those kind of deals where it's like, all right, you've got this positioning advantage over here by quad box. He gave up his position by throwing a flashbang out, and then they knew and could capitalize on that. His Molotov goes way too far, and it was actually Daps that took him down. So 3 kills on the round for Rush, 2 kills on the round for Daps. Good effort from Roka, but it's going to be too little too late. And now you can see OpTic Gaming going to force like a little bit of a quasi-buy here for the CT side, and Sanks picks up an M4 with no armor. So this is like a desperation buy only 5 rounds into the match.
Roka really hesitant to buy there, too. You kind of wonder what's going on their side with their like mental state. I'm sure they're feeling a little bit frustrated. They just picked up 1 round, immediately lost it. They lost the first map. They've had a hard time on cash in the past. They know that they're playing against a very capable opponent. Things just don't look good here for compLexity, but a great peek from Roka as he rushes in towards Sunroom. Gonna get himself a little bit of a tan and a kill on Stanislaw as well, catching him off guard as the op was holding, just couldn't quite hit the shot onto Roka. A nade to follow up. Roka still holding in Sunroom right now. Daps trying to get into position to take him out. He's got Shazam walking up into position as well on B main. Both players trying to lock down that spot. They take out Def, and Sanks goes down over towards the A side as well. So it's really just Shazam taking a duel with Roka, and he gets payback for the damage dealt early on. And it's complexity down to just 2 players here. 4 up on the board for OpTic.
Shinobi just got Sanks killed. He threw a pop flash for the squeaky door, and it hit too high off the wall and actually blinded Sanks. And then he was just a sitting duck out in the open, couldn't find cover because of that flashbang. Now Fraud flashes Shinobi, so the teamwork right now on the complexity side is way off the mark. And their Daps and Rush are going to be able to drop the last 2. And I'm not really sure what's going on with complexity. I mean, Shinobi yet to get on the board. 1 kill for Sanks. Like, what do you do in this situation? They already took their pause. They decided to go for the force up into that last round. They even get the man advantage early on in the round, but then they squander it over at B, a couple of mistimed nades, a couple of mistimed flashes, and they end up shooting themselves in the foot more than anything else, and this isn't the complexity that we expect to see.
No, not at all. And they're going to lose some bodies very early on. A 1-for-1 trade, though, as Fraud manages to catch Daps off guard. So it is a decent start here, as it is just a pistol round here. They're just trying to do some economic damage to the side of OpTic. It's going to be quite hard, as the money hasn't necessarily hit critical mass yet, but they do have a little bit stored up, about 4k on 4 of these players. Rush hitting a great shot onto Def, and now it's just Sanks in the A side with a P250, catches Rush, boosting up over Forklift to the edge of that smoke, but that's all he's going to get. Fraud has found himself an AK, and he's actually in position to try and do a little bit more damage on the round, but it's not going to happen. The rest of the bodies fall to the floor, and Complexity are now down 6-1. It's basically a repeat of map 1, where they're just consistently losing rounds to OpTic, and the second they get the foot in the door, OpTic slams the door, breaks the toes, and it's Complexity forced into these awkward buys.
And it's a real shame because, you know, we've come to expect a little bit more out of complexity, especially at the beginning of the season when they were taking maps off of some of the top teams in the division, like that big win that they had over Liquid earlier on in the season when, you know, we were kind of hyping the whole Simple hype and him coming over, going to be a force to be reckoned with in the North American scene. And then that first matchup goes the way of complexity, and it's like, okay, what the hell happened there? Now we see the boost. Def is going to be perched up here, and Shazam, he's ready for it. Yep. Bye-bye.
I mean, the reality is Complexity has an unsustainable business model. The idea behind Complexity is cementing a roster with 2 players like Roka and Sanks, and then building around them, bringing in younger players like Shinobi, who maybe not as developed, and then bringing back an old-timer in Fraud and pulling in a UK transplant in Def. It was a very ambitious project, and it hasn't really worked out thus far. And that's exactly how this round is going. It's not working out thus far. It's down to just 3 players, Roka, Shinobi, and Sanks. 5 up for OpTic, only a little bit of damage dealt to Daps. He's down to 56. But they still have so much utility left to try and flush out where these other players are. Shinobi's going to be the key spot player right now on the A side as he's boosted up into the corner. Shazam, he goes for the peek, but he's not able to capitalize on the shot. Shazam looked like he was poised to take it, but it's actually going to be Rush who gets the kill on Sanks in the A site. And now Shinobi is a little bit stuck in the A side right here. They continue to boost towards his direction, or peek towards his direction, but luckily Daps is able to peek from A main and take him out. And Roka, again, by himself. This is a situation we've seen on this map multiple times. He plays B, the bomb goes A, and he's stuck on the retake several rounds in a row.
Yeah, his teammates just aren't holding down the A bomb site very well. I mean, they're playing relatively heavy on mid control, which is understandable. Fraud's been going up to try to get Vince control almost every single round. This past round, they boosted Def up in mid. He doesn't get anything because Shazam is back there watching for that push. And they just get picked apart one at a time across the map, and now you can see here comes the flashbang. Roka's going to just jump peek behind it, and Stan was privy to it. I guess he was caught looking a different direction at the time that went out, so Roka's going to forfeit his life. 7-1 for OpTic. 1 round away from winning the half, taking a lead heavily into the second half right now. And I mean, it's going to be another force up here from the complexity side. I mean, Def goes for the head armor, smoke CZ. He's down at 1150, so even if they lose this round, it's going to be another save from complexity's side.
This is just textbook. This is kind of what we anticipated. I said at the half, probably a 16-3 or a 16-4. Their CT side on this map, I think, was the better one. Their T side was the one that they struggled on, if I remember. I think I saw them get... Was this the one I think they got 14-1 on? I believe it was, and they almost brought it back. Yeah, they almost brought it back.
That was the match that Silent went 29-4 or something like on the CT side at half, yeah.
Yeah. So their T side left a lot to be desired. It was their CT side that was actually really strong. But right now, it doesn't look like their CT side has any strength. As they get mowed down regardless of which site they seem to favor. Obviously, this is a force-up, so they were just trying to do anything at this point. They're throwing everything against the wall and hoping it'll stick. Fraud's going to get a jumping 5-7, so a little bit of a gift from the gods there. as he makes it away with an AK-47 on his back. The rest of his team still sitting in position here to get some exit frags. Sanks towards the back of B main, and then Shinobi on the opposite end, holding for the push into CT spawn. So they've got the T side pinched a little bit, just looking to do more damage, potentially find another rifle.
Yeah, well, now they know exactly where Sanks is. He's going to lob out a flashbang. That's not going to be on the mark. Actually does more damage to him than anybody else. Shinobi is going to be able to clean off Stanislaw, and he does get an AK out of the round, so they at least salvage 2 rifles. They should have no problem saving these. As you can see, the terrorists very disengaged from where the rest of the CTs are. And really, the big aspect of the round right now, or these rounds, is that they go towards A on the gun rounds. They're having almost no resistance getting into that A bomb site for OpTic, and then on the saves, just to try to, I guess, maybe toy a little bit with Roka and go, haha, now you don't have a rifle, you can't mow us down. They go towards B on the saves. So that's a little bit of a slap in the face.
Yeah, Roka actually trying to shoot the vents there seemed to have a hard time as he put like 3 or 4 bullets into it with the USB, even made the noise of the vent breaking, didn't actually break. Always fun to play CSGO.
CSGO, man.
Yeah, what can you say? Sanks in position in default right now. He's holding a molly. He's waiting for the push. It's going to be just a full bombard on the A site. Smoke's out for default spot, and they're going to pour out of A main. There is no smoke for the cross, so Rush creeps right up into position. Kind of an interesting strategy here, delaying that smoke to allow them to get that entry on the man towards Forklift. Roka's going to punish Rush, though, as he comes up from Highway, but it is just him and Def here on the retake. Def with the op, a gun he seems to have struggled with early on. Faced off against Natfly, Daps, and Shazam, all turtled up in the site.
Yeah, those flashes go out. Roka, he's stuck behind Toxic. He can't get any further. He's just going to take a dirt nap on the ladders. Got a little bit of a headrest there, which is nice. He's got that lower rung on there. Def does manage to return onto Shazam, but with that much time expired, he does have a kit, but, I mean, at this point, he's going to fall back and hang on to the rifle. But, I mean, again, we saw this in the Cloud9 matchup last night. Just tremendous terrorist side half, and then they just get completely obliterated when they switch sides because they have no rounds to work with. And that's the situation complexity's in right now. 7 rounds, now to be 8 rounds the difference. 10 rounds in, it's 9-1. And if they don't get, you know, 4, maybe even 5 rounds on this CT side, then they're screwed, given the track record on their terrorist side. So complexity really needs to pick up the pace here.
Especially because there's that position, or there's that thought that runs through your head, where you're like, all right, well, we just lost the first half 10-5 or 11-4. If we lose pistol, now we have to force. We don't have a choice. We have to force immediately. And they just continue to force buy on top of force buy because they're like, we're so far behind, we just have to catch up. So they never let the money get to the point it needs to be at, and they're constantly weaker for it. And that's exactly what happened in the last map. They got behind. They force bought as many times as they could, but they just couldn't hold it off eventually. And that's likely to happen here as they are down by a heavy margin very early on. And they're going to be coming into a somewhat weaker buy than maybe they would have had if they could pick up at least a round or 2 here or there. You can see they've got body armor M4 on Roka, no utility on him or Fraud, 3 kits, but very light utility on the rest. It's going to be very difficult for them to try and hold off these sites without the smokes, without the flashes, and really without the mollies and incendiaries. That's like the biggest thing that CS has added in Global Offensive is the Molotov and incendiary. It's completely changed the way that teams will try and hold or take a site.
Yeah, and I mean, Def playing a hyper-aggressive angle over here by A main. He's going to get flashed back. Nobody's really encroached on this position too terribly much. They actually go for the boost up over the top side of mid. They're just going to go for the spam. They have no idea that Natfly is over here by Squeaky Door. Mid control being completely open for the taking now. Pop flash over onto Highway. That's going to blind the players over in A, but they've already gotten up. Def gets daps, but Rush is so far up on Catwalk that it doesn't even matter. He's got one to beat by truck side. That's going to be Shinobi. He shoots him in the back, does get that nice shot, but Stanislaw is there to reply. Takes Stanks down, and now we're just down to a 3v3. Fraud's still watching for any kind of a flank to come out from middle, but it's not going to be there. And in that meantime, Shazam is able to find one. Stanislaw chimes in, and it's down to Roka again in a 1v3.
This is exactly what happened.
He's frustrated right
Yeah.
now.
This is what happened to them against Energy. Roka was playing B. They continued. Oh my god, a one-tap from Stan. That was nuts. But, I mean, Roka would play B, and they would go A, like 80% of rounds. And he was constantly retaking. And obviously, your stats are going to suck when you're never able to just stick your spot and hold, because you're constantly running out, getting caught off guard. They're pushing truck, and you don't expect them to be there because your teammates die in A so early in the round. Or they just basically surrender the site with only 1 kill across the board. So it's really difficult if you're a player like Roka right now, who's playing on the opposite end of all the action and just watching the kill feed and you're like, what is happening? Why aren't we able to stop them from pushing into the site round after round?
Well, at least this time they get Sanks up in lockers, probably a position that they're going to clear out eventually. You can see Rush on the back lines. He's just throwing some spam in. Actually, throws his spam right up, but it doesn't actually connect. Now it does. Finds a couple of bullets to the backside of Sanks, who does throw a deep smoke there into A main, so now they've actually been alerted to his presence over there, but they're going to push up and spam through again. I mean, Jesus Christ. Who is that, Rush? Settle down, man.
Was he?
I mean, he lined him up like 4 or 5 times in that situation. This time around, Def at B with the op. Gonna find that opening pick. Roka's gonna be here in mid with a scout behind the smoke, just looking for an ang. And Stanislaw is gonna work his way around. Now comes the smoke push, and Shinobi's actually gonna capitalize. So this is the first good-looking round for compLexity, but look at how late it is in the half.
Yeah, and look how many rounds in a row that OpTic has won. This could actually backfire for them as they could lose a lot of money in this round. Roka in the vents, one in heaven, that's Shinobi. One back towards CT, that's going to be Def. Def misses the shot with the op despite the fact that Nafly wasn't even shooting at him. And oh goodness, every gun that he takes out of their hands is going to make it that much harder for compLexity in the next round. You can see Roka at 3,300, 3,650 on Fraud, 3,550 on Shinobi. OpTic could afford to lose the round. And you know what? I've actually said before, I've posited the thought, a little bit of my own CSGO theory crafting. If you're at a point where you've won 6 or 7 rounds,
lose a round,
yes,
to reset the economy.
I've thought about the idea of planting the bomb and then letting them defuse, and then coming in and kill the guy after he defuses. So now he's won the round, but he makes it out with nothing. They have no guns left, and they have to buy up with 3K. It's kind of an interesting thought, and I've wondered for a long time if there's any team who's ever given it a serious discussion about whether or not they should intentionally lose a round just to reset the money on their opponent's side.
Well, that's one of the things. I mean, at the pro level, obviously not. They want to get as many rounds as they possibly can. That's not really the thought process going on there. I mean, I've even talked to Moses about this in the past just to kind of see, you know, from a professional side, what's the thought on that? Have you ever thought about purposefully losing a round to try to reset the economy? And the answer is always no. You want to win every single round presented to you. But now OpTic, they're presented with a golden opportunity to reset. Sanks with the op over a quad. He's not going to get anything out of this round. He's going to go down immediately. And with that being said, I mean, it's Fraud on a 5-7, an op, and an M4 to try to do something. Nice shot from Fraud, though, but Shazam answers back and takes the op down. And now Fraud over here from Highway, he's going to get overwhelmed, and it's down to Roka in a 1v4. How many times have we said this situation so far in this matchup?
Yeah, this
nice
was
shot,
the,
though.
yeah, this was the round we kind of saw coming. I mean, you knew that OpTic was going to try and punish compLexity for winning that one round. They knew their money was low, so they play a fast play on A, and they know there's no way that compLexity can hold it. So,
did you see that play that Roka just tried to make?
I did not.
The HE grenade that he threw out?
I did not see that.
Okay, I'm sure that Chad
was he trying to block
spam...
the nade?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure that Chad is going to try and spam NA nade on that, but that was actually really smart. He tried to throw the nade right on the other side of the op that was sitting there and have it blow back onto himself so he could salvage it in the next round. So before anybody posts NA nade on that one, that was actually a really smart idea because he was going to be in a position to save anyway. He was trying to get as much economically out of the round as he could, so he tried to get the op out of it. Unfortunately, the nade didn't quite go far enough, and it blew off over towards the cat side as opposed to the truck side. So, clever, cheeky little play there, but it doesn't end up working out for him.
I mean, I've seen teams do that before where they blow a nade, they throw a nade and blow a rifle away in the opposite direction. Usually, it doesn't really land where you want it to. One of my favorite things is when a team tries to pick up a rifle after the bomb blows up, and the bomb has just been blown all the way across the map from the blast radius, and they're scrambling around looking for it. But I didn't actually pick up on that, so kind of an interesting play. One of those things you don't really pick up from Roka is how much he's thinking about the round as it's playing out. Kind of shows where his mind sits at during the round, but his team definitely feeling pretty weak right here, and they're going to lose that one rifle on Roka as Nafly guns him down through the door. A lot of damage dealt to Naf, but he's just going to back off and let his team take over on the charge.
Yeah, now you've got Fraud trying to get aggressive in mid. The 5-7's been working out better for him than the rifles so far in this matchup, but now they got to worry about this. Then they line up in the site. Shinobi does manage to find that and stave off Daps for a little while longer, but the Tech 9 comes around the side. And there you go. Shazam's going to be able to finish the job that was started by his teammate. He's got the op by quad, but he knows not to repeat that. Nade comes around the corner. That might clean him up. No, it's a little bit off the mark. Takes him to 2 HP. So a couple of players really, really low here. Fraud spamming away with the 5-7, finds one. Shazam gets the trade, but it's Def over here from A main. They're both so extremely low. He spots out Shazam. I don't know if Shazzy actually knows that he's there, but There's the peek out, spots one, takes one down, looking for the spray transfer, and he does actually end up getting it. So 3 rounds now here for the CT side of compLexity.
They knew he was there because Naf was boosted up on the electric meter in Squeaky Door, and he spotted him making his way in towards A main, but he couldn't get the recoil under control. He panic sprayed a little bit, knowing he was low on HP, the fear that Def could just put one bullet into him and he would go down. So he rotated back around towards Squeaky and just held. Probably made the call to Shazam that he'd be coming from A main, and he was. They tried to go for a re-peek, but you could see both players were just so low. The only player with any HP has to go for the peek on the man ladder just to try and put it in position where they can get like the triangle of doom set up, 3 players and 1 man entering, and there's no way he's going to escape. So compLexity scraped out a round victory yet again, but at this point they're fighting a losing battle. They're down 11-3. The best case scenario, they make it 11-4, and they do start out strong with who else other than Roka pushing in through B and gunning down 2 players.
Yeah, and that's one of the plays that they needed to make right now. I mean, you can look at the scoreboard right now, and it's Shinobi and Sanks that are really kind of holding back compLexity in this matchup. I mean, Fraud is at 10, Roka's at 11, and Def at 12, but it's been those A players, Sanks and Shinobi, that really haven't been able to do much. And this time around, it's going to be Shinobi at the B-bomb site. They hear the vents getting broken, so they understand that there's a potential for mid-control being exercised from the terrorist side of OpTic, but Roka is actually all the way in T-spawn and finds a 3rd frag, and now Rush is going to come around the corner. That's a 4th for Roka, so he's just had enough. He's sick of this crap, and he's going to go for an ace. So why the hell not? I mean, he's only gotten hit for 19 HP, and he's got full bomb control as well, so big plays from Roka in this round.
He's also got full utility. Still got a Molly smoking HE, so he could basically do whatever he wants at this point. It's up to Nafly, who just has an AK armor, but he's in a position that I don't think they anticipate him to be in. Def is actually going to turn back towards that direction. I guess the call was made that he could have made it out of vents. So Def turns back, but only with a CZ, only able to get a few bullets onto Naf before the headshot comes in with the AK. And here we go, Roka on the flank looking for the ace. And there you go. A very nonchalant ace from Roka to close out the half. But based on the way the first half went, 11-4, even that ace is not enough to really build a fire in your team. You're down 11-4. Can you really come back from this? When we saw them play Energy, they were down 14-1 at half, but they switched over to the CT side and then brought it back a little bit closer. It was their T side that they managed to get 1 round on. And to be perfectly honest with the way that OpTic's playing, I'd say they're a much better cash team than Energy, much better overall team than Energy right now. So I don't really think this is going to go well for compLexity. Not
at all. And that's one of the things. I mean, they didn't even have an opportunity to really show us anything on their T side last night, being that it was such a monstrous half from Cloud9 when they were on T side. I think it was, what, 13-2 in that matchup going into the second half, and then they lost pistol round. I mean, compLexity is a team that we see continuously struggle on picking up pistol round victories. I mean, so far tonight, they've lost 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
This is the last opportunity that they have to win a pistol round, and you can see how much that can swing a match. If they were able to get the pistol round in that first half, they could have gotten 7 rounds. And then you're looking at an 8-7 scoreline going into the second half, and much, much better position for them to be in going into that second half. You saw it in the first matchup, too, on Overpass. You know, it's 10-5. They lose the pistol round. Then they don't get any traction going after all is said and done. They do manage to mount a little bit of a comeback, but they only get up to 10 rounds. You know, 5 rounds in that second half. So, again, this is a crucial pistol round. Sanks needs to step up. Shinobi needs to step up. Roka, just keep doing what you're doing, Roka. You're going to be just fine. But the rest of the team, I mean, they need to step up behind these performances from Roka.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up statistics from their last couple of matches. I know against Energy was their T side where they got 1 round. They got 2 against Cloud9. I mean, it's been a consistent problem. Their T side has just felt weak. And it's going to be that much harder as they lose a player early and another one to follow as Daps picks off 2. Sanks is going to respond and they're going to get the bomb in towards vents, but Shazam is in the back of Checker. Now he's waiting. The trap has been sprung. compLexity makes their way out, but it's a 3-man stack on the B site with Shazam and Checker. He's got to come up with 1. Doesn't get anything. But Stan's already rotated in towards tree. He's got an 8 in his hand. They could boost the bomb back out of vents if they decided to go with that, but it looks like they're going to dedicate themselves towards the B site. And they're taking the duels with the man inside. Nafly gets 1, but it's a 1 and done as he goes down. Roka very low as Rush is just popping bullets left and right. And now it's on Stanislaw to clutch it out. And the 2 players who have clutched so many rounds for their team dancing around in the B site. But Stanislaw comes out a little bit stronger as Roka is down to 6 HP.
Yeah, now Roka's actually going to push in towards CT. He's making a little bit of noise, but he's going to come back out into Stanislaw's crosshair. Nothing that he can do in that situation. He was just too low to fight that winning battle. And again, 4 pistol rounds go the way of OpTic. That is a miserable night with the pistols for compLexity.
When they played against Selfless, they were able to get 8 rounds, and when they played against Liquid, they were able to get 8 rounds on the T side. But since then, it's been nothing but struggle on the on Cash, which is kind of interesting because they have Roka, who is like this frag god, and Cash is kind of a map that lends itself more to like raw individual performance taking over. Like we said when they played Energy, Silent got 29 kills in the first half, basically led the charge for his team. So you would think like with Roka and Sanks, they could really ride those players to a victory, but they just have never been able to put anything together. And even starting on the CT side didn't seem to fare too well for them. They're now on this eco here with a smoke, double flash, likely to be an A take here. And it's a full retake strategy from OpTic, very wise, knowing that it's very likely that compLexity goes this direction. And they'd rather just give them the site and not surrender any kind of money. Just play for the retake, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, they've got these 2 players playing over the backside of Truck. They do allow a player to get out the forklift side, and they've let a couple of players get out into the site right now. But like you said, I mean, it's going to be a heavy retake strategy. And now compLexity, they know this. They've gotten into the site, they've gotten all set up, and now they're going, oh, Jesus, when's this retake going to come in? The trade of frags to start it off, Stan's going to find Sanks Roka onto Shazam long range, so we'll see if they can continue to capitalize. They've got this double stack going on over here at Quad. And now they're going to try to make it happen. There you go. A couple of frags going back and forth, but it leaves Fraud 1 versus 2. Nav finishes him off. The defuse will come out as Daps does have a kit. And 13-4 now. So the retake pays off. They managed to save the FAMAS into the next round, as well as a UMP. But it was predominantly SMGs throughout that round. So OpTic not the heaviest of investments into that one either.
And now they're going to go into the rifles because they know where compLexity is sitting at. They're going to go for the force up here. No surprise. They're down 13-4. They need to make something happen. They just got the bomb plant with very little investment, just the smokes and flashes, really. Shinobi, who I think was the one with the smokes and flashes, is the only one not on a rifle, so he sacrificed a lot for that round to get that bomb down for compLexity. And the rest of his team is going to be benefiting from his suffering here as they make their way out of mid. Daps behind sandbags looking for some headshots. Spots Fraud as he makes his way off the boost spot. Fraud is able to duck behind that wall just in the nick of time, and a big kill from Roka as they try to make their way out onto the B site. Stan is playing this close corner on Heaven. He's playing it so well. They have not spotted him because of that smoke. Oh, he turns at the worst possible time. Shinobi peeks. He's going to get 1. Now he gets 2. Almost gets the 3rd. So much damage has been dealt. You can see Sanks on 21 and Fraud on 12. And Shazam and Rush are poised to take this one.
1 molly. Oh, never mind. 1 nade. 1 nade, 1 molly. Either way, they were going to roast. So Shazam, the double Kobe at the end of that one, going to find both of those kills, takes him down. And that's pretty much all she wrote. That's the way the compLexity's night's been going right there. I mean, well played from Stanislaw, poised up there on the balcony, on the scaffolding, not giving his position away. Picking up 2 kills, dropping the other one down very, very low, and then that double nade comes in and cleans house. So 14-4, another force up, that bomb plant at least allowing compLexity to have the money to go into another force buy here. This time, this force buy is actually, even though it lacks the utility, the firepower is better than they had in the last round. But OpTic, the green wall, I mean, what can you say?
I mean, the unfortunate nature of this matchup tonight, these 2 maps, is that this actually puts compLexity in a very dangerous spot where relegation is a very real reality for them. They're going to lose another body early on, and it's Roka, of all people, the one they've been relying on so heavily throughout the entirety of this match. Another kill goes the way of OpTic as Shinobi tries to come in on the refrag. Not going to happen today. Navfly picking off Fraud. It's just a chain of frags going the way of OpTic, and they continue to just punish compLexity very early on the round, who has to play fast. Their lack of utility means flash in and frag out. But unfortunately, it's not happening that way. It's flash in and check out. It's just Def by himself with a Galil, and down he goes to Shazam. A 5-up round, the clean sweep, the Swiffer for OpTic as they just sweep compLexity under the rug here. And I think my match prediction for this one was 16-3. So if this ends here, I was actually pretty close on both maps. I was only like 1 or 2 rounds off.
Yep, there you go. And I want to give a little bit of credit here to our esteemed cameraman. Obviously, we have a stream delay, so this is going to come over the stream a little bit later, but I just watched the replay of that last round, and he did the nade cam on Shazam's grenade that got the double kill. Beautiful stuff, DJ. We love you, buddy. So getting the T-Tours, trying to break that T-Tours bad habit that he's got going on there. So nicely done from him. But this time around, OpTic aggressive in towards a main, the spray and pray, and the spray transfer, not able to line it up. Nafly only going to get one out of that. Def does answer back with two, but Shazam going to be able to pick one up at a heavy cost to his own life. But if he spams that smoke right about oh, nope, a little bit off. Oh, burn, baby, burn. And now we're going to be down to a 3 versus 2. 1 HP on Def, but don't count him out. He's already picked up 3 kills on the round. Fraud trying to make it happen here with this Tech 9, but it's going to be rushed to find one. Fraud not able to make it happen, and now it's down to Roka in a 1v2. But he does have the Deagle, and it is a Deagle Blaze.
He's going to have to deal with 2 AKs here, set up in a crossfire.
Well, rip.
Yeah, that's kind of what we expected to see. compLexity just could not get anything together. Economically starved throughout the entirety of that map. It's exactly what we've seen from them time and time again on Cash. The one time they really played Cash well was against Liquid very early in the season, but since then it's been nothing but troubles for them. So an 0-2 on the night for compLexity as OpTic picks up both maps.
Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing right there. So compLexity continue to struggle. They're going to drop to, 2-9 now.
2-10, I think, isn't it?
2-10. Yeah, 2-10 in Pro League. So having a really rough go at it right now, trying to figure out what's going on with that team because we don't like to see a name like compLexity, especially in CS, have such a struggle. So hopefully they can get everything rocking and rolling, get everything moving and grooving. And we'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Now, remember, we're going to be switching streams. We're going from this stream to the main stream, which is ESL_CSGO without the B at the end of it. So keep that in mind, guys. We're going to be going live over on that one in a couple of minutes for you. So hang tight. We're going to have Team AGG versus Renegades coming up next, and it's going to be on Inferno followed by Cobblestone. So we'll see you guys over there in a few minutes. Hang tight.